Why Yu Damduk recalled how he had put effort and passion into the construction of the Minotaur's maze. He remembered how everything was coming together and beginning to look quite magnificent. He reflected on the aura of the dungeon, which he was pretty familiar with, and wondered why he hadn't realized it earlier. Yu Damduk, highly alert, asked what was happening. Upon having a closer look, he saw that it was none other than Thor's dungeon, the Minotaur's maze that he had helped build. Yu Damduk, looking at the Minotaur's maze dungeon, asking himself, why would such a deadly dungeon be here of all places in the world? Injured civilian cough caught Yu Damduk's attention. Quickly helping the injured man, he asked him if he was okay, to which he replied that they needed to evacuate from there immediately. Yu Damduk's senses, which were now highly sharpened and superior to those of the world's top 10 hunters, sensed an incoming attack, filled with intent to kill. He instantly pushed the man out of harm's way. By a hair's breadth, something passed so quickly between them at great speed and force, surprising Yu Damduk. Looking at what had caused such an attack, he saw upon closer inspection that it was a sword that had been seriously embedded in the wall with great strength. This caught Yu Damduk's attention, turning to look where the sound was coming from. An old man said, his voice beaming faintly, "Help me!" while a sword pierced from his back through his chest, causing him to tremble. The weak man fell onto the ground when a huge lizard beast was revealed, withdrawing its weapon. Its eyes were deeply focused on Yu Damduk, as if preparing to hunt him as its next prey. The giant lizard man stepping on the man's corpse, its blade dripping with blood as it approached our terrified protagonist. On the other side, a tribe of lizard men was charging with great force and bloodthirst in their eyes. The army tried their best to keep them at bay as they commenced fire. Guns were blazing at the lizard men, but this proved to be useless and unreliable after killing a few, while other lizard men toughened their scales, bouncing off the incoming bullets. Yu Damduk, seeing the incoming bullets, hid himself behind a truck, shouting, "Hey, you imbecile! Can't you see I am a human being? Or is it that you are so stupid that you can't differentiate between a creature and me? Or is it because I am a bachelor?" But unfortunately for our single brain cell of a protagonist who hid from the soldiers and faced the lizard men, he saw one of the lizard men holding his sword like a javelin and throwing it with serious force, aiming to kill our protagonist. Yu Damduk, seeing the incoming sword flying towards his neck, felt like he was going to the afterlife. When the system prompt resounded, "The combat focus level A has been activated. You helpless idiot, dodge or we will die." Yu Damduk felt like his senses had hit another level of sensitivity, and everything had become tangible against his skin. The incoming sword, hurled by the lizard man, approached him. Yu Damduk looked at it, seeing the sword that seemed to be moving slowly. Was his mind able to contemplate and receive information faster than a normal human being? His vision felt omniscient, all-seeing, and nothing could escape his view unnoticed. His sense of touch and feeling felt omnipresent, able to sense everything without escape. Seeing the incoming sword reaching close to his eyes, wondering why it had took long to reach him, and his godly reflexes kicked in as he rashly grabbed the sword midair, even shocking himself with the insane feat he had just accomplished. Holding the sword in his hand, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? Did I just do that? Or did my bachelor instinct kick in? The disturbing voices made Yu Damduk alert, turning in the lizard man's direction. Seeing the lizard man aiming a sword at the injured man beside him, this made Yu Damduk call out to the old man, who was in pain, to watch out. But seeing his condition, he knew his warning would fall on deaf ears because the man was already struggling to keep his consciousness and not lose it due to immense pain. Seeing this and having no other choice, Yu Damduk gathered all his strength and charged towards the lizard man, instantly tackling the lizard man with great force, giving the poor lizard a preview of being hit by Truck-kun. Even the soldiers were shocked by the force of impact made by Yu Damduk, who was either a hunter or identified as Truck-kun. After almost one-shotting a lizard man to death, Yu Damduk found himself getting up and surrounded by them, putting him at a disadvantage. His senses coming back, Our protagonist knew it was GG for his stupid ass, had rushed out in anger, and now he got himself in a peculiar situation. The lizard man who had received Yu Damduk's Truck Kun spear was enraged because it had shit on itself and almost died from that attack, which could have caused it to die while losing all its aura. I'm sorry for that attack. It was a mistake. I meant to hit the emote button, but I mistakenly hit you with my ultimate, replied Yu Damduk. The talent of combat focus has been activated, the system notified Yu Damduk. Due to his first-time usage, he couldn't utilize the skill to its full potential, which was now like an A-tier skill, but when fully mastered, it would reach its normal tier, which is double S tier. Yu Damduk instantly moved on his own, evading the lizard man's sword/attack. Even Yu Damduk had no idea what was happening. It was as if his body was responding on its own. It was as if it was instinct. The lizard man's screech caught Yu Damduk's attention, alerting him to one of them charging towards him. Yu Damduk, still not understanding what was happening, instantly made a quick sidestep, dodging the lizard man's attack from the back. Inwardly, he felt so alive, and at that moment, life, which used to feel like a lucid dream, now felt so lively. Not only could he see clearly the movement of the lizard men as if they were in slow motion, but he also instantly made his move, disappearing from the lizard men's view in an instant and casually appearing before one of the lizard men, who was unprepared for such a shift in Yu Damduk's speed and aura. Yu Damduk recalled that if this took too long, his beloved mother would be in grave danger, and he had no reason to hold back. He decided to go all out, preparing his fist with all the force he could muster. This led him to quickly unlock the hidden achievement of true awakening. Unleashing his tyrannical blazing fist, Sky Piercer, Yu Damduk landed 6 consecutive punches on the lizard men in a split second, unleashing a kill shot on one of them, which was sent flying a huge distance away, all its bones shattered and killed. Yu Damduk's whole body was now awakened. Shocked that his skill had worked, he felt no fear in his heart, only excitement and joy for more. Turning to face the 2 remaining lizard men, he positioned himself in a battle stance, ready to confront them with great force. The lizard men, seeing Yu Damduk's power, had to take him seriously and not hold back. One of them instantly charged for a killing blow, aiming for Yu Damduk's neck, but he easily dodged the incoming attack. To gain balance, he quickly turned to face his opponent, knowing that one lapse in tracking his enemy would be fatal. Positioning his feet as a pivot, he executed a straight 180-degree kick straight to the lizard man's face, instantly killing it. Another lizard man charged towards Yu Damduk, aiming for a sneak attack while he was distracted. But all it did was drag its sword as it charged forward. This alerted Yu Damduk, who turned to see that the lizard man had closed the distance and was right beside him. Not wasting any time, the lizard man used every ounce of its strength to slash upward, hoping to kill Yu Damduk with one shot. But what it saw next was not what it had expected. Yu Damduk made a sensational backflip in the air, looking majestic, leaving the reptile terrified, knowing it had messed up. It had one job, just one, and for that, Yu Damduk came down with great force, reminding this reptile why its ancestors went extinct over the past 1,000,000 years by landing a terrifying technique that absolutely annihilated the lizard man's common sense and its life in an instant. The soldiers were dumbfounded, witnessing the raw strength Yu Damduk had displayed before them. It was quite unbelievable how no human being could match or replicate it. His movements seemed so inhumane, and the only words that could describe it were godly. The soldiers stared at Yu Damduk as if seeing a deity before them, unable to believe that he had easily defeated the lizard men with his bare hands, without even a single use of magic. A figure seemed to be approaching behind the soldiers, who were surprised and relieved to see the mysterious figure arrive at the scene. The mysterious man, with a happy smile on his face, asked Yu Damduk which guild he was from. Yu Damduk, clueless about who had called him, turned to see the mysterious person. person. The mysterious person was accompanied by a group of people wearing black capes, 2 of whom were with him, while behind them were his guild members, who were swiftly dealing with the lizard men with ease. The mysterious man told Yu Damduk that he was indeed a new face, but also very skilled to be able to deal with the lizard men so easily and without any weapons. He introduced himself as Namgung, the guild master of the Sangoon Guild. Namgung extended his hand for a handshake, and Yu Damduk, seeing this sign of kindness, accepted it. Namgung knew that no guild member would come alone without his comrades, telling Yu Damduk that he was an unaffiliated hunter. "You may say that," replied Yu Damduk. Pointing at his guild members, Namgung gave Yu Damduk an invitation to join them in clearing the dungeon with them. This left our protagonist, whom was not used to being a hunter, but an ordinary person looking at the Minotaur's maze. He knew that if not cleared early, monsters will pour out if the dungeon, increasing the risk of his mother being in danger. His body was trembling in fear, but he knew he had no choice but to do anything to keep his mother safe. Gathering all his strength and courage, he comforted himself that it will be as easy telling Namgung, "Let's go," knowing if he's there, they have a high chance of clearing it, because he knows every detail and traps in the dungeon, and with that will up the death rates low. At the dungeon, we see them at the cave approaching the dark tunnels, which we had seemed earlier that this was the way he had came with the red auger while constructing the dungeon.
End of flashback.
His hands on the cave walls, Yu Damduk felt that the creature he was sure Ray were supposed to be here were ahead, lacking and waiting, and had not began to move. He told the group this was the wag and to follow him. Namgung gave his guild member Ari signal to do it, and his guild member took his knife to mark on Ari wall to give guidance. Yu Damduk was glad he had the place memorized at heart, because during the construction, he had passed through here hundreds of times. Yu Damduk, seeing Namgung going forward aimlessly, he told Gum to wait, which made Namgung to wonder, asking Yu Damduk what was the matter, in which, with a serious tone, told Namgung that he will lead the way. This response didn't please one of the members of the Sangoon Guild, seeing Yu Damduk arrogance towards their guild master, telling Yu Damduk to watch his mouth because he was a nobody and had bow authority. Yu Damduk didn't even respond to that fool's blubbering, knowing you can't feed common sense to a fool, telling Namgung that the path forward had pits and traps, which is why he was telling them he should lead. Namgung thought that Yu Damduk was bluffing and was worried about everyone walking into a trap, told him not to worry, and that they had sent an advance party to clear the way before them. Yu Damduk, seeing JT was hopeless to speak sense to this idiots, took a stone from the ground and tossed it ahead the moment the stone landed. Spikes looked like spears instantly came out from the ground and shattered the stone at an instant into dust. This scene made the people from Sangoon Guild and their guild master feel great ingle through their spine, knowing that was their fate the next moment due to their ignorance. Yu Damduk told them that if they activate RHE trap marks from the floor spear, which are made from special grade alloy neon janvi, they will pierce most armor like butter, and this may be simple, nut, it's much deadly to not suspecting enemy. "How do you know all of this, despite we just entered this dungeon?" asked Namgung. This question made Yu Damduk almost cancel his life subscription that moment. "You can say I have high sharp senses than anyone, and Zud feel that the floor over her were lolling kinda sharp." Having evaded the close call, Yu Damduk guided the group safely, and he suddenly stopped, causing Namgung to ask him what was the matter as he continued to reach out towards the glowing torch. Turning back at them, Yu Damduk told them that the path forward from here will be quite dangerous, holding the torch high to illuminate the darkness, revealing something that got everyone's attention. Yu Damduk told everyone to better prepare themselves, and the real fight was about to begin.